Welcome, tourist, to another episode of Tabletop Tour Guides, where you're gobbling up each adventure. I'm one of your hosts, Drew, and I've got with us your other host, John.
Hey,
Today we are unboxing a pretty cool product that we got. This is our store's copy of Halo Flashpoint, a new miniature game coming out by Mantic Games. John and I haven't, I think, done a ton of looking into this. I demoed it at Adepticon, and then John, you said you were looking on the website at some stuff.
yeah, now that we're finally going to unbox this thing and probably get a game in the next couple of weeks, uh, I've been trying to dig around to see like the play modes and kind of how it plays.
Yeah. Well, from what I remember at Adepticon with my demo and the footage I've seen since, and there's some other people, some friends in the community that have gotten copies. There's actually two boxes that they've got going around, and there's like the Flashpoint box, and then I think it's the Recon box, or it's the Elite box. There's one box that is this one we're opening, which is kind of the starter box. It's just some little terrain and a 4v4 setup on teams, and then the other box has, I believe it's 12 Spartans and 4 elites from the Covenant faction.
Okay.
So there's a bigger box. This is just kind of like the get you started box, though. And we'll unbox that today.
I just need to know which one has Master Chief and Cortana in it, so I can just run around. Like, I don't think Cortana's in it, but if I could paint him up Master Chief and be like, "This is Master Chief," smash some people.
Yeah, there is a Master Chief model with an energy sword that they were giving away as pre-order bonuses. I think when this box and the other box first went live, but I think people are still waiting on pre-order fulfillment. So the game's kind of been slept on a little bit. I know we had some people get really hyped about it at Adepticon, and then it kind of went and fell asleep on everybody because they were hey, pre-orders are at Gen Con, and now we're waiting on pre-orders to be fulfilled, and not a lot of people have really started building communities around the game. So it's a good time to grow that interest again as it's pre-orders are getting fulfilled. Now we can start looking and seeing like, oh, hey, how's this game actually going to turn out? We'll probably end up doing a whole episode about Halo down the road, so I don't want to get too far into what the game is and what it's about, but briefly, it is a kind of a kill team style, small table board size miniature game, skirmish miniature game, where you play Spartans with various different loadouts, or elites if you have the elite box, and it's mimicking the player versus player multiplayer experience of the Halo video games. So you've got the missions that the Halo video games use, and you've got the weapon drops on the map and stuff. So you start with the assault rifle, but if you run 3 squares over, you can pick up a gravity hammer kind of thing. So that's what the game is like. It's mimicking that multiplayer experience. And it uses one other just quick thing is it uses the Mantic cube system. I can't recall exactly what it is, and I was flipping it over here to see if it told me. But Mantic has this map and terrain system that does 3-inch by 3-inch cubes. So you measure your model movement-wise based on cubes, kind of like Judgment, but you can land anywhere in the cube that you move to. And so what it does is it lets you put terrain out organically. It's not, your terrain isn't on a grid. In fact, actually, I'll take my box off. We can just pretend this grid here for my cutting map is what I'm talking about. So you can have terrain, organically put around the map, not in the grid, but your models move within the grid and land anywhere inside that square. So if you were to move to this square, for those guys, this is almost only video content. I don't know if you guys that are our audio listeners are watching our unboxings, but I would recommend you get on YouTube. You can move 1, 2, 3 and land anywhere in this hex, or this square, so you could land touching this cover to get the cover. That's kind of how, and it's a 3-inch by 3-inch cube, height wise and everything. So it's kind of unique that way, in the sense of like you can just deploy the terrain how you think looks cool, and you're not punished by that movement wise. So kind of an interesting system. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I think their Dead Zone game uses it as well. But it's something I haven't really played, so I'd have to I think it's unique for sure, and I'm interested to see how it plays.
I will say one thing. I don't know if I looked it up. I was looking at the models that came within stuff, but does it come with pop-up? Is the terrain like a pop-up terrain type of thing?
I think it's like a durable cardboard, and we'll see when we open it here.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
But no, I think it
let's
is.
get right into it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's like a durable, like kind of a cardboard you can piece together. So let's go ahead and open it up.
Now, I will say, talking back on the before we get into like what's in the box, talking back to that player versus player aspect, that sounds like fun. I mean, if especially from what I see, it's got like Oddball, Slayer, Capture the Flag. These are all things that are going to bring back my childhood and be like all those hours I played of Halo. But at
Right.
the other side, I'm like Mantic might have missed a target for me, which is me and four buddies trying to survive a flood or Covenant attack as we try to do missions together.
Right. Well, and I can't help but feel that eventually, and this is something I'll talk about at the end, but if they're willing to do these multiplayer game modes, they're probably going to be willing to do something like Firefight, right? Where it's an AI versus you. Like we've seen that in other games, like Kill Team just got that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't come down the road.
Yeah, I think that would be just an amazing and a fun
People
time.
really enjoy that. Yeah, for sure. So the box is nice. It's just kind of your typical, Dead Zone rules engine. That's the name of the cube system. So yeah, it's like 90% the same rules as the Dead Zone game they have, which is a sci-fi game. Box is kind of nice. I mean, it's not really like it's not. I know I'm kind of cheeky when it comes to my boxes and these things. I like to look at the boxes. It's not the best box. It's not a worst box. It's just a standard box. We can't all be GW where the boxes inside are just like super awesome art and everything like that. So, all right, opening it up. Oh yeah, this is
Kings
really
of
why.
War.
This
There,
is why I really bought it, guys.
we're going back.
Oh, and you can kind of see. I don't know if you guys can get it on the camera that well, but this is their dead zone system. You can kind of see these little grids, these little squares that everything fits into. So that's cool. Kings of War, by the way, check out our recent tier list episode to see where we put Kings of War. Halo Flashpoint was not on that because we hadn't actually played it yet. So, okay, it's a little assembly guide for the terrain. So it's not pop up, but it's pop out like
Yeah,
assembly.
it's not bad. That's good.
Yeah.
I
So
was just thinking. I know companies are talking about going more to pop up nowadays. Some of them. I mean, not like GW or anything, but
sure. Well,
uh,
GW is doing MDF now.
yes, they're doing MDF.
It's
But I'm just
cool.
saying, like, having pop up and being able to carry that all into my one little war case or whatever with my models would be awesome, and me just
That's
have
totally
everything I
fair.
need.
Yeah, well, I think that market got tapped into pretty easy from like Tabletop Titans when they did their pop-up terrain.
Yep.
That did really, it's still doing really well. I think that opened the eyes up for the market. So we're not going to go into the rule book. I mean, this is just a nice little rule book. I was actually just kind of perusing through real quick to see if there are any spoilers of other models. A lot of times rule books will do that where they'll spoil another unit somewhere in a rules example, but that was not the case. The only thing we saw were Spartans and elites. So rulebooks all right. Here's the playmat, and you can see those squares I was talking about.
So this type of play mat is not my favorite. You fold this up, you try to lay it on a table flat, and you just get crease marks and models fall. And
Yep. No, I'm with you there. Good.
I mean, I'd rather have like the cardboard foldable, that'll rip a little bit more, but then I can still just put it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This is something that you would keep in your backpack for a demo, and that's all you'd ever actually use it for. One thing I do like about this though, and to be fair, this is actually pretty, like, this is kind of a rubbery paper. This is actually pretty durable. Like I don't think this is paper. It's like that canvas material almost.
Okay.
But it's still going to have issues with creases and things.
Right.
But one thing I do like is, check this out. This is actually pretty cool. It has a demo scenario printed out with the rules for the people and everything on the sides and all the terrain layout. That's actually pretty cool. So this is a pretty easy way, like a shortcut guide for what actions do, what energy shields do, how fighting works. It's got the 2v2 profiles. That's actually kind of a cool little demo thing. I would actually, if I was a store or like somebody who demoed a lot, I would laminate this so it was flat. Yep. And then roll it up and then have it, because that is pretty slick. I mean, you can't tell me that's not cool. That's a good use of a backside of a mat.
Now you're not gonna have to keep referencing the back maybe while you play. I mean, we're gonna figure that out, but
well, I think the goal is that you play the backside enough to where you can remember the rules. and then you go to
Okay.
the front side. Like that's your just learn how to play scenario, and then you can just reference the. That would have been cool to put the rules in the back, but the quick rules. But you can just reference the rule book once you've started playing the full game. But
All
yeah,
right.
no, you're right. It would be nice to have that somewhere else. But I thought that's neat. Good use of double-sided map material. So, okay, so here's the. We don't want to spoil it yet. We don't want to show the models just yet. Here's the terrain. So I'm just gonna pop one piece out. I don't want to pop it all out because we'll want to build it eventually here.
Right.
Okay, so it's got little pegs and stuff that it can. It's just a durable kind of cardboard. Like this would get tore up after a while, but it's not gonna tear up right away. It'll last you a while. That's pretty cool. I like the terrain. I did see a lot of people online and people I've talked to locally that are kind of like, yeah, this is fun for a while, but then after a little bit, it's kind of getting old having to play on perfect squares and UNSC only like terrain. There's not a lot of organic terrain pieces in all of this, but
Yeah.
they're all like double sided. It looks like too, so you can have insides.
Well,
Good.
in this box, all you have is like this. I think all you have is the Spartans, and then they released like a Covenant side. I would love to see like a terrain layout for that to come out, or a map to come
Yeah.
out with that. So you guys
Well,
are fighting them on the ship. It's like you're back in
yeah.
that moment where you're on the ship in Halo 1.
Right. No, that would be really cool. And you know what? It's like they can release those little map packs like that pretty easily because we see that with Infinity. They sell, or they did for a while, themed cardboard map packs for like $15. You could get a little map pack that was a different theme.
Yeah.
So, and you could buy a couple, two or three of those and have plenty of terrain. So, just your typical token sheet with a little couple barricade things here and there, just normal. These are the weapon drops that you can get on the maps and stuff. So, the different shotguns and rocket launchers and hammers and swords and stuff. So,
Somebody just show me where the rocket launcher is. That's all I need.
right. Oh my goodness. And now we're getting into the hardware here, the stuff that I think we're both the most excited for here. So we get 8 minis, we get a red team, and we get a blue team. I'll try to here. You know what? Let me move this out of the way so we don't have like a bunch of stuff in the background while I get this mini up to the camera here for a second. So it's that kind of like typical board game plastic model.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
it'd still be fun to like just prime over it, and paint it to whatever
yeah,
I'd want.
yeah, it doesn't look too like it doesn't have a ton of layer lines or not layer lines, mold lines. It doesn't have a lot of mold lines. It's got some pretty good looking grooves. I'd have to probably actually paint this before I could really tell you if it was just horrible or not, but it's cool looking. I mean, it's not as good as Catalyst is doing with BattleTech,
Mhm.
BattleTech minis because they're also pre-built minis, but it's not too far off that. And you have to think about it too. Like this is a beginner box board game style kit that they're selling, so it makes a little more sense that this would be in that like punch out Chinese made board game plastic, right? So
Right.
it's a little bit better than your typical board game plastic. Not a lot of cleanup, but I think once you start painting it, you might start to realize there's some shallow pieces of the sculpt and stuff like that, but not too bad.
Yeah, I don't think people realize like I know whenever they get into this they start to get a little bit worried because like if you got into 40K or anything like that, you're having to make the models, prime the models, paint the models. This at least has them pre-built for you to start playing right away. But I will say painting them no matter what is at least to me and a lot of people I know is the joy of it. You know that those look
Right.
my scheme that I wanted and everything. So
Yeah. Well, I think there's a it's a juggling act, man, is that we've got game companies are trying to make new customers, and how do they do that? Well, there's a board game market or a card game market that they're a little intimidated by the fact that they have to build minis. So our starter box needs to have pre-built minis, so that way those people can buy it and play. That's kind of I feel like where the direction is going. Um,
okay,
so you know what I mean? Like if you have like somebody who's never played a miniature game, they're gonna love this. right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
you and I are going to be like, all right, I wish it was I could assemble it or pose it or whatever, but not the end of the world. Like we'll still
right.
buy this and play with it, right? Most war gamers are going to be okay with this, and then it's going to be great for anybody else who's trying to get into the hobby. I wouldn't be fine if this was the whole line like this, but
Right,
for
right.
a starter box, whatever, not the end of the world.
I'd be having fun with the Starbucks. I'd be priming and painting them into the what is it, Rooster Teeth?
You know,
I
red
think is the
versus blue. Can't
Red
talk
versus
about
Blue.
those. Can't talk about those now, John. They got canceled. We can't mention them on our channel.
Hey, they might have gotten canceled, but I mean, I grew up watching that,
Yeah, that's fair.
and I mean,
I did too.
that's the painting schemes I'd look. I'd look up all the people at Caboose, all of them, and be like, "You're gonna be this color blue. I'm gonna duplicate this."
There you go. Yeah, that would be awesome. So one thing that I can't tell if it's good or bad. I honestly kind of wish, for personally, I don't like this. You tell me how you feel on it, but these are the exact same models.
Okay, so yeah, they have the exact same pose between two of them, just one's
Yep.
blue, one's red.
This
Yep.
is Yep. This is the same guy. This is the same guy. This is the same guy. And yeah, these are the same guy. So it's literally just the same exact mold, sculpt, and everything, just blue and red.
Yeah, that seems like at least to me a little not fun.
You're
I
right.
don't. But
You
again,
could
it's the starter box, so what can you do?
you could have had at least different poses or maybe a different gun or something, right? Like if you had like
Right.
leader guy has an assault rifle in this one, leader guy has a battle rifle in this one, shotgun guy has a shotgun in this one. The this guy has an SMG, right? This guy's got the wait, is that a shotgun? Well, whatever these guns are, he's got the other one. He's got the other one, right? Halo's done a pretty good job of having a lot of guns in a very similar like range, right? Like, oh, these are all the close range guns. These are all mid range guns. These are all the long range guns. You could have mixed and matched that a
But no,
little
I
bit.
don't see any of them carrying the sniper rifle for headshots. I mean, come on,
Well,
guys.
and I think that's where they're juggling where they're having to juggle it too is like the big heavy weapons are all going to be on the battlefield. They're not going to be stuff you can start with.
Well, that's true, but I mean, you could still represent the model with it because I mean, it's not
Oh,
like when I
sure.
pick up the rocket launcher, I switch out the model with one
Right.
with the rocket launcher. I mean, that'd be fun, but it's just unrealistic.
Right. That's fair. So those are the minis. They're pretty cool. I mean, I do overall think those are neat models. I mean, I would we should start doing like a A or a B or like grade the boxes when we do these. Um,
Okay, we'll try that. At the end of it,
yeah, we'll try it.
we'll spitfire a grade for it.
Let's try that. Okay. Last thing to go over is we got dice. Now, one thing I'm just going to be totally honest with everybody here on. I don't know if this is enough dice for two people.
Well, I'm gonna be honest on this one. I have no idea what the dice do. So
Oh, okay, fair. So the dice do a couple things. These are your attack and defense dice. They use a D8 system,
okay,
and they can do exploding D8s. So like if you hit and you get an 8, you roll another dice. And so then these are, I think they're called command dice. I can't remember exactly, but every round you roll one of these and you get an effect based off the symbol you got. So like you might get to do an extra melee, or you might get an extra level of armor for a guy. And so stuff like that. They add like a random element to the game.
okay.
So just yeah, that's what the dice are for. We've got cards. I love cards like this. I wish every game would do this. Like the fact that you've got Star Wars Legion, MCP, Shatterpoint, they're all doing cards. I think that should just be the standard for gaming, because I just love the fact that I don't have to reference an app or a rule book or whatever. So yep, it's just two of the same guy
Right.
over and over.
I'll fully agree with you. If it can be a card, and why wouldn't it be? Like that's what I want. That doesn't matter what
Yeah.
game we're playing.
And people make the argument of like, oh well, like some games it makes a little more sense, like Infinity, because there's so many rules on a card. Like I don't know how you would get them all on there, right? And the game changes enough to where the card might be pointless. But even if the game updates, I'd still rather have the card to reference, and then like I can scratch out and be like, okay, cool, this is the updated rule or whatever, right? I don't know. I still would prefer a card overall.
Right. I understand that.
Um, And here's these, I think, the weapons you can pick up on the battlefield. Yep, these are all the different weapons you can pick up and what they do, like the stats they give you.
Where's that power
So
sword?
power
Very
sword,
solid.
range 1. Oh, sorry,
Oh yeah,
my camera light's kind of.
that's fine. I see it.
So that's pretty cool. So it doesn't look like they give you enough. That's an interesting thing, is they don't give you enough cards for 2 people to keep. They give you enough of the unit cards, but like if we were to split this box, I'd have to keep the cards or you'd have to keep the cards for the weapon upgrades.
So yes, I do wish game companies would stop doing that. That's
They do
such
it
a
all
pain
the
in the
time.
butt. Is when I buy something terrain, sure, I don't need dual terrain. I would love it, but if you're gonna
Right.
call it a 2-player pack, I should be able to like split the box with somebody, so we each have our own.
Right. Exactly. I agree with you. Enough game components to have us both be able to play.
Right.
So, okay. I mean, that's not too bad of a box. It's very simple. It's a very, very simple box. Like, there's not a lot going on, but the game is very simple from what I remember. It's just go after each other. There's not even points currently. It's just agree on a model count and pick your teams and then move on from there. That's what the game is currently. Unless things have, we're jumping in a little late to the game here on this, so if there's been more information, apologize in advance, guys. But from what I remember, is there's no points. There might be points coming down the road eventually, but currently the game is just pick some teams and play, which that's not
Right.
necessarily a bad thing. We play Kill Team and it's that way too. So, yeah, that's the box, man. Where are you at on the box? What are you thinking?
Um.
On a grade of S down to dog shit.
Okay. Let me think here. So,
And
points
this
are
is
neat.
not about the game for anybody
Right.
listening.
Right.
It's not
It's
about
just
the game.
how
This
the
is
box is.
right. This is the box itself.
I'll give it probably a B because, and this is like a B average.
Yep.
You know, it's not terrible. It's not great.
Every game
Uh,
should be at least a B.
yes, yeah.
Yep.
This
I
is
will
what it
buy
should
it if
be.
it's a B. B for buy.
So you got the 5 models. They each have their own slots, which I love. You know, I've bought some before that's just like there's nowhere to store them. So
Mm-hmm.
this makes it easy to carry it to a friend's house or anything. It's got the little pocket we saw, the big pocket we saw inside there is where the terrain could sit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the dice and everything are in their own little slots, so they don't, you know, smash around and just juggle around inside. So I think that's what gives it to a B for me. I've seen worse, so
Fair. I think I'm with you. I would give it a B because it's very board gamey. Like you said, it's very compartmentalized. They could sell this box with somebody buying just this box and never buying another one of their products.
right,
And I think that's the intention, right? Is like for this specific box. And as far as like the contents of the box, I'd say it's a B because I got everything I do need to play. Like you and I could just take to the shop next week and play this game, no issues, ready to go. And that's pretty good. Like in fact, I can just pick it up and play it and go. I love that. Um, Things that could have made it get to an A: unassembled minis that let me kind of have some options and enough tokens and stuff to like if you give me enough stuff in the box for 2 people exactly, barring terrain, because I can understand terrain, dude, that moves your like your game like into S tier for me, right? Like if they would have had, if the models were a little better and they gave us enough components for us both to play no matter what, this would be S tier. um
yeah. I mean,
I would say each of those things moves it up a tier.
yeah, like I would say, and I'm trying to base this off of, and this is actually a recent one, is like Hive Storm,
Right.
the GW. Thinking of their box, when you buy that thing, it is only enough for one person. Like you both can sit down and play, but if we both had the same secondary archetype, I don't have 2 decks worth of
Right.
tac ops. That's not enough for both of us to play. Then
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
one less on the other team. I know you
Right.
can't use that one, so that's where their standard went a little bit down. This one's staying a little up because at least we can
Yeah. At
sit down and
least
both play.
right. Yeah. You may not be able to both take something home, but you can both play. Yeah, I
Right.
totally agree. I would still keep Hivestorm in that B range just because of the models and the quality of the product. But
Right. But you know, again, it's the only reason I put it down is it is advertised as like a starter
2-player
kit
set.
for 2-player set.
Yeah, that's fair, and it's a good uh, relevant recent product. In fact, actually, and I'm real quick here, guys. I'm one thing I want to talk about as well is the cost. So we got this copy. Like, well, we're not getting to keep this copy for anybody from Mantic out there watching us. This is our store's copy that we got on loan here. So it looks like, yeah. So just so you guys are all aware, there is a Spartan bundle which has, okay, so it's got the Flashpoint box, which is what we have right here, plus 8 more Spartans, all with like a gravity hammer, energy sword. It's got all the special weapons. You get an extra set of dice, a Cortana looking model for free, and it's got all the terrain in here, but done up like 3D sculpts. So, and that is 180 pounds. It's just about $200. Um, and then you've got a couple of other bundles. I'm trying to see what Flashpoint is cost wise, because I would like to mention that in the. So Flashpoint is oh, sorry, Halo Flashpoint is just the whole game. Don't listen to me. This is Recon Edition, and then there's Spartan Edition and there's Recon Edition. This is the Recon Edition. The difference is the amount of models you get. The Spartan Edition gives you the 4 elite models and then like the 12 Spartans. This gives us the 8 Spartans, and it's 60 pounds. So that's about $80. 60 pounds. Let me just convert it real quick. Yeah, 60 pounds is 76 US dollars. That's pretty good. Like if we were to break this down on that cost, like that just solidifies my B, because
Yeah.
I'm only paying $76 for this. All right, cool. Well, looking at that, if it's $76, we're both getting 4 minis. That's about $20, $18 a model, which isn't great, but it's front ended because it's a starter. But we're also getting enough stuff to play with and everything. Like, that's a pretty good price for a starter. Like that $75 is not horrible to get started into a game at all. Also, at that price, I'd almost recommend you just get the Spartan edition, because for like 30 more bucks, you get twice as many minis. Well, like 3 times as many minis. But
That's fair. I'm actually looking, and I was just looking through the shop whenever we were trying to find the price, and I saw that the Wave 2 is going to include an organized event play kit, and I think that's awesome.
yeah, that's
That's
really
something.
cool. That'll be really cool. So there's hope for the game, and I mean, I guess we could also kind of quickly talk about our hopes and dreams for the game, because I know we're talking a little bit about before the episode, kind of where we are at with it. What's your, from, again, our mildly uneducated, we'll do a full episode on this down the road, but currently, after looking at the box, looking at some stuff online, I've done a demo. What are you wanting from the game? Where are you sitting with the game? Not the box now, we're talking about the full game. Where are you at with that, and what your hopes are for it?
So without playing it, I'm hoping in the future maybe introducing certain loadouts that your Spartans can bring, like the most recent Halo games that I played, where they can have shields or something like that, or move faster. Um, and then kind of getting to that firefight mode that we talk about, that single or duo player where you and a friend can bring a group of Spartans and try to do a mission, and there's Covenant on your butt or the Flood. These are two of the most iconic things, and that's kind
Right.
of what when I heard Halo, I got, before they were even like, oh, it's a PvP versus PvP game, I was like, this is gonna be awesome, I can't wait. It was just
Right.
all in my mind. Being honest, in my mind, it was a faction versus faction. I'm gonna play the Spartans, somebody else is gonna play Covenant against me,
Like a
or
traditional war game almost.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's honestly where the community at large has wanted that. When a game first got announced, everybody was like, it's going to be Halo Wars, the miniature game. That's what
Right.
everybody wanted. That's what I personally want as well. I don't mind the PvP mode. I don't mind the firefight mode. I honestly would hope that they would invest in all three. The campaign, PvP, and firefight kind of modes, right? The Halo Wars mode. but I'm wanting 40K level or bolt action level gaming, with like that 30 models ish. I want 4 Spartans, 10 UNSC Marines, and a Warthog, right? Like, that's what I want, right? I don't
Right,
want
right. No.
I don't want PvP. You know what I mean? I want the lore at large, is what
Right,
like they
the
like to
large
call it.
scale battle. That's kind of
Right.
what I want too. This is great for like like having the four and having the small models, and the PvP is just its own thing is cool. But for a narrative way, which is honestly in Halo a way I would preferably like to play, have that world come to life and be like, if you succeed this mission, you guys defend this place, with some
Right.
lore accuracy and stuff
You're
like that.
you're talking about one of the largest video game IPs with some of the best lore, and you're using none of the lore,
Right.
which is not great. So the fact that they've got more stuff already on the way, like there's a whole wave two. I love the fact that there's organized play. The setting is cool, the game is cool, like the franchise is cool, and the models seem okay. Like I'd like to buy another kit that wasn't the starter and see what the models are like. But overall, I'm hopeful with seeing all that. Just right now, I'd rather sit and wait than jump all in right now. I don't want another War Crow scenario.
Fair, yeah. Warcrow,
Right?
Sin Wade
Seems great. It's a
it's a
great
killer.
game. Right. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But okay. So we're giving it overall a B. I think that's a pretty good grade. I think that's what every game should at least minimum be. Like that again, I think B for buy, right? I would recommend somebody buy this if they wanted a quick Halo gaming experience.
Yeah, I mean, and it is quick. I don't think we talked about the time, but it seemed like it was 30 to 90 minutes, I think is what it was
That's
timed
what the
at.
box is saying. Yep. And I think that's a great place for games to be now. These days, everybody's wanting quicker games. So all
Yeah.
right, well, cool. John, you have anything else you want to say about it before we sign off?
No, I'm ready to play it.
All right,
Can
me too. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.